Live from Rip City, it's the Urb Thrasher Flower Hour, featuring music, videos, and backstage interviews with the masters of metal, the monsters of rock, and the hellbellies of alt country. Now, throw your horns up and crank it to 11 with your host, Urb Thrasher.
Yeah! Get those horns up, everyone. Urb Thrasher here with Radical Russ.
Hello, fans.
That's right, hanging out here in Rip City, Portland, Oregon. Having a freaking great night tonight, man. Had a great first hour. So thankful to our pals out there in Canada, freaking Black Hell Oil, joining us tonight. Had a great talk with them. We talked about their brand new EP released in January, Smoke You Up. And you guys can go check that out at Bandcamp, their Bandcamp page right now, and you can get that for $4. And I think you should have 20 cents, $4.20, everyone. Let's go! But great stuff. Appreciate you guys. They're hanging out now, and just excited for them and everything. So, Russ, a lot of stories going on in the cannabis world. Dr. Sanjay Gupta is doubling down. What you got for us, bro?
He's doubling down on medical marijuana. Of course, last August, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, who's well known from CNN, he came out and said, he came out with this show called Weed, and he also had his time on CNN and did an op-ed online where he apologized for misleading people on medical marijuana. Hey, he goes, I haven't been part of this. I spoke out against it. In fact, I used to, on my show, call him out on it.
I remember it.
A few, rants. And he was, intellectually honest enough when confronted with the evidence to say, no, wait, I was wrong. We've been misled. And that was the bigger thing to me than him saying that medical marijuana was good, is saying that the government's been misleading us on this. Mm-hmm. That was critical. So when he did that in August, that just set a cascade of knowledge, just coursing through America, where these parents who've been dealing with their kids that got severe epilepsy saw this little girl in the documentary get damn near cured, going from like hundreds of seizures a week to one, right? And, being able to now walk and talk and develop. That has been a huge deal, right? Now you got these families from Utah and South Carolina and Georgia and all Tennessee, all over the place that are, saying, hey, why can't we get this? It doesn't even make you high. It's so low in THC, it doesn't even make you high. It's not like the kids are puffing blunts or nothing. They're just getting help for epilepsy. Well, Gupta has kind of taken some heat, right? From, the president and all these other people. Well, not the president, but, political observers saying,
I wouldn't be surprised if he's taking
yeah, where it's like, hey, hey man, we're trying to scare the bejesus out of people.
During those years.
Yeah, we're trying to scare the bejesus out of people here. It doesn't help when you're saying it's medicine, right? That's basically, what he wanted translated. So now he's come out with a second documentary. It's going to be this Tuesday, called Weed 2: Cannabis Madness. But the madness he is talking about is the government's madness over it. And the famous quote that you mentioned is that he says he's doubling down on medical marijuana. And he's going to show more stories. And what I like about this is going to show more stories of not just little kids using CBD oil, because that's kind of the way that these drug warriors want to steer it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's not marijuana. It's a CBD oil, right? Now, he's going to show people that are using THC, inhaled THC, whether it's smoked, whether it's vaporized, we're getting great relief. And he's going to emphasize that. I think that's a really big thing that's going to really help us as we're moving forward on this.
Yeah, I'm real excited to see where he takes this. He had an opportunity in the last couple months to maybe recant or to back up a little bit, and he didn't. And that's basically where his I'm doubling down is coming from, is he's basically saying, I'm not backing up. I'm actually going further into this game or this bet or this charade, whatever word you want to use, but he's going to take this further, and he's backing it up with science.
Absolutely. I mean, it's completely on our side, and there's so many of these people that we're going to look back at this and over history, even in just 5 years, and they're going to seem so prehistoric. They're going to seem so retrograde on this, because they're going to see they're going to have stats of how many kids have been helped, how many families have been helped.
Yeah.
And I think it's real telling in this story that when you talk to the epilepsy organizations. There's 2 epilepsy organizations. The Epilepsy Foundation, which represents patients and their families, had just recently came out in favor of medical marijuana and greater access to it. The other foundation, I don't know exactly what they're called, is of the epilepsy doctors. Oh no, they're not for it. Oh, there could be too much risk. We don't know about the risk to kids to developing brains from marijuana. Well, we do know the risk to developing brains from having 100 seizures a day. We know what that risk is. Is pot that bad? It just makes me so mad when we get into this subject, because these are, sick little kids. And when you meet these kids like Brave Michaela and Alex Eccles' kids, and you talk to these stories, and they get such miracle relief, and to think that we're going to deny that from a parent, a desperate parent, a dying or sick child, because we're worried somebody might smoke a joint somehow. Gosh, if we let these kids have their medical marijuana, why, people will think marijuana's okay and they might smoke it. Like they're not smoking now. Yep. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's right. Urb Thrasher here with Radical Russ, hanging out here in Rolla J Studios. And before we get to maybe another news story real quick, want to let you guys know that Black Hill Oil is still hanging out there. And if you guys have a question for those guys, tweet them up, man, or Facebook, and go to their Facebook page, like them, or tweet them at Black Hill Oil. And dude, they'll answer, they'll talk back, man. They're really cool dudes, and they got a lot going on. So if you guys have any more questions, want to go check out their gear, check out their new art, go to their Facebook page and message them up. All right, Russ, all kinds of stuff going on. What else is going on out there in the world? The thing that's it's kind of not just one story, it's a whole bunch of them. This week was kind of the tidal wave of great stories from the South. The American South. Who'd have thunk, right? There's a bill filed to allow medical marijuana in South Carolina. Todd Rutherford, who's the minority leader down there, has called it the Put Patients First Act. And he says he's talked to people who are battling epilepsy or brain tumors and they need medical marijuana. Now, it's limited. It's just cancer, AIDS, glaucoma, epilepsy, MS, and cachexia. No pain, no nausea, right? You're not going to get that in the South, I don't think. But it's a start. There was also another southern state, Georgia, which passed its medical marijuana bill out of its House of Representatives. Doing great things in Georgia.
171-4. Now, I interviewed Sharon Rayburn, who's with Peachtree Normal down there, and she says, it's just, I've been doing this for 2-3 years, and, the first year we were doing it, you couldn't even bring up the subject without people giggling about it. And now they're passing it 171-4. In Florida, the Charlotte's Web medical marijuana bill gets out of the House committee. Now, that's where it's just the CBD oil. It's not full medical marijuana, but we're talking about, Florida. We're talking about the South. And, of course, you remember, Florida is going to be voting on a medical marijuana amendment this November. So, the prospects are really good. Now, I did read a story where someone was saying it's not, a guaranteed slam dunk because public support is only, 82%. But they have to get 60% for an amendment, and they do, you do tend to lose ground as time goes on. But I think all of this, like the popular political wisdom is when you put an initiative up, it loses ground as time goes on in the campaign. I think the opposite happens with marijuana, and we're going to start to see the opposite. I think it happened a bit in Prop 19. It's going to happen with this, where marijuana's been demonized for so long. When people are uncovered to the truth about it, they begin to support it more.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm sure too. And I wouldn't trust anything about Florida right now, in any law or anything. Florida is it's almost become its own state right now. And so Florida, if they're telling you that it's not going to become medical, I wouldn't count that. And if they're saying it is, I wouldn't count that either. Florida, just keep fighting.
There you go.
What else you got, Russ?
We also had, Florida, Georgia. Did we have one out of, where was the other one? There's a couple of New England states, Ohio. Missouri is delaying their legalization fight. They had put a bunch of, Show Me Cannabis had put a bunch of legalization initiatives out to get the titles on them.
Yeah.
They've decided that, all right, we're going to hold off on our money. Their polling came back. It wasn't as positive as they wanted. But it's still majority is 51, 52. But You want to go into these like 60, right? You want to have a good fighting chance. So they're gonna put it on hold for now and go for 2016. So now I think Missouri's got a really good chance here. It's just going to take us a little bit of time to build up the support there.
All right. Well, all you cannabis warriors out there, you guys keep fighting. A lot of great things going on, and we will continue. Don't forget to watch Tuesday nights, Dr. Sanjay Gupta's I'm Doubling Down. All right, man. Let's get back to some tunes. We're going to get to some Big Jim tunes, man. My buddy, he was a great guy, man. He was in our chat room every Friday night. He was a trooper. He loved this show. He loved what we were doing, and this show right here, what I'm about to play, we actually went to this together. I mean, this was like in the 80s, man, and I remember we all had a crew, and we all went to see, where I'm from in Alabama, what you did was you went to shows or you hung out in the country in the fields and smoked weed and had bonfires and shit. Mm-hmm. That's just what we did. That's all we had. And so, Big Jim and myself and all these dudes, we all hung out. And Ronnie James Dio was huge. And I remember going to this tour, Sacred Heart, right here. Turn it up, folks. We're going to come back and talk more about Big Jim and rock and roll. Turn it up. Ronnie James. Rest in peace, brother.
Greetings, my children. Come with me now and discover the magic that lies beyond the sea of dreams. And if you have the courage to cross the Rainbow Bridge, you may find the Sacred Heart.
Yeah, the king, man, Ronnie James Dio. And that right there was the Sacred Heart, and that was the title of the album also. And that album released, I think it was his like third release back in the mid 80s, 85, 86, definitely right in there. Classic stuff, man. Dio, you know, this is back when concerts were concerts, and this is like, you know, with Big Jim, and we would go to these, dude, you know, like I said, back in when concerts were like, you'd tailgate, you know, you go there a couple hours early and hang out in the parking lot and fucking drink and hang out with your buddies, and then you go into the Civic Center, you know, and you sit up. You didn't mind sitting up at the top because that's where you can smoke weed.
Yeah.
You know, you can get all in the seats, and the lights would go out, and you do the lighters, and you saw that stage performance right there, Ronnie James Dio. I mean, the whole big dragon, the Dragon Slayer themes, and
Hell
you know,
yeah.
the back shows were 2 hours long, man, and you know, classic stuff. And so, really enjoyed playing that for my buddy Big Jim. As I said, back in the days, we would go to all these shows. You know, the Iron Maidens, the Judas Priests, the Ronnie James Dios, Rush, Triumph. Just all these bands that were so dear and tender to our hearts that have brought us so much great rock and metal through the years. And Jim loved it all. And Jim was very active with the Alabama Medical Marijuana Coalition. He was the treasurer of that group down there. And as Russ just mentioned in our news segment at the top of the hour, you know, the South is doing so much, and Alabama is one of those states where, you know, the Carly's Law is pushing forward, whether you're for it or not. It's been in the news. They've been talking about it, that, you know, they're talking about cannabis, and they're moving forward. And Ron Compton down there, and Chris Butts was unfortunately just busted in December, but they're still moving forward, and all these people are still rocking. And so Big Jim was big time into them. Activism was an important thing. He saw what we were doing out here, and he didn't understand. He didn't understand why people in the South were hanging out, why they were so far behind us. And you know, I'd go home for Christmas, and we would hang out, and he'd be like, "Man, I'm ready." And then all of a sudden, years ago, he started up, and then he did this big thing. And he's rocking ever since. Did so much. And he's always supported 420 Radio and myself and what I've always done here. And he was always in the chat rooms every Friday night, man, with Roll Tide. We'd talk sports. He supported our sports show on Tuesday nights. And he would always request, and two of his favorite bands to request was The Sword and Grandpa's Cough Medicine. So load those bowls up, turn it up, get those horns ready to go. Check out a little The Sword. They're going to be here March 17th, folks. Turn it up. There's The Sword.
and I remember it well. I was slipping and sliding, drinking and driving, bringing me closer to hell. And the devil sat in the passenger side of DeLorean's automobile. He said, hey, Frilly, let's not be silly, there's a life out there to steal. Rock, soldiers come. Rock, soldiers go. And some hear the drum. And some never know. Hey, rock soldiers. How do we know? Ace is back and he told me so. With a trooper in the mirror and Satan on my right, we went wrong way down the one-way road, hitting everything in sight. I cried, I am invincible. Said I was high above the law. But my only high was just a lie. And now I'm glad I saw. Rock, soldiers come. Rock, soldiers go. And some hear the drum. And some never know. Hey, rock soldiers. How do we know? Ace is back and he told me so. Calling rock soldiers. You rock soldiers. Calling rock soldiers. All rock soldiers. Friends say they'll stay with you right through that danger zone. But the closer you get to that fiery hole, you'll have to make it alone. When I think of how my life was spared from that near fatal wreck, if the devil wants to play his card game now, he's gonna play without an ace in his deck. Rock, soldiers come. Rock, soldiers go. Some hear the drum. And some never know. Hey, rock soldiers. How do we know? Rock soldiers come.
There's not much left for me. cut this life off from me. Now the world is gone, I'm just one. God let me hold my breath inside, wish for death. Please God wake me. Taking my speech, taking my hair, and taking my arms, taking my legs, taking my soul, let me live life in hell.
Yeah, Grandpa's Cough Medicine. Dudes are out of Florida, and they're blowing up down there. Actually, they're having a great run right now with shows, and I've been invited to all kinds of festivals. You guys can go to their Facebook page and get all that info. Playing with all kinds of legendary bluegrass dudes, and a little bit, they're heavy metal dudes that went bluegrass, and you can hear it in their playing, and we love those guys. That's Grandpa's Cough Medicine. One of Jim's favorite bands, and he loved that tune, man. He couldn't believe that a bluegrass band can play a Metallica tune like that, and he would request it and request Grandpa's Cough Medicine. And before that, we played Frehley's Comet, Rock Soldiers, just an old school tune. So many of you out there, and Big Jim, and I like to call myself a fucking rock soldier, and, you know, and we just carry this flag. We like to promote the music that we all love and grew up with, and to all the old school bands and all the new bands such as Black Hill Oil, who joined us tonight out there in Canada.
Want to say hi?
And just rocking dudes. Dudes, appreciate everything, you guys, and hanging out tonight. Hopefully you guys have had a great time. We have really enjoyed the tunes, and hang out, man. Yeah.
They're a little bit in the dark now because they're really partying.
That's right, man. And then, that's right.
I can hear them.
Yeah, we can hear them. And then before that was, I don't even remember who we started off with.
We started out with the Sword, filmed live at the Rosewood.
Dude, you know what? That was one of the old school clips, but that was before this show was Urb Thrasher Flower Hour. That was Normal Rocks. We were back in the normal days, and we filmed that. That was Iko and myself. Iko did all that, put that together, and I was down there filming those dudes, loving it. Big Jim loved those guys, man. He loved the Sword. They're out of Texas, and he's just a rock star. And Big Jim was an Alabama dude, Alabama fan. We loved watching.
I was in Texas last summer. It was fucking awesome.
You were in Texas for playing tunes, or just hanging out, or eating barbecue?
No, me and the old lady went down for a ride for Dime.
And fuck yeah, dude. We love Dimebag Daryl here, man. You did ride the Dime? Dude, you just scored 420 points with me, and you were already high on my list. I mean, you're like freaking...
yeah, me and the lady went down, and we spent a lot of time in Dallas, Texas.
Shit, I thought Richard was cool, but damn, Damien's... Man, dude. You are...
I'm not cool at all.
Dude. I know, dude. You got some picking up to do, Richard. You got some... No.
I brought our tunes down south, man, and... you Americans have such appreciation for good Canadian rock and roll.
Speaking of rock and roll, for those about to rock, we salute you. Turn it up, folks.
a dark road, night is strolling through the park. When the light begins to fade, sometimes feel a little strange, a little anxious in Donington Park. Fear of the dark, fear of the park. I have a constant fear that something's always near. Fear of the dark. Your turn! Fear of the dark. I have a phobia. Someone's always there. Run your fingers down the wall, and you felt your legs get crawl when you're searching for the light.
classic Iron Maiden right there. Fear of the Dark. That was for my buddy right there, Big Jim. The shirt right here, folks. See my shirt? He got that for me, dude. That was the last show that he went to just last year. He was so proud to get to go to the Nashville Iron Maiden show. And he was fired up, man. And when I went home for Christmas, he'd had this shirt. And it was just, or no, he brought it out to me when he came out to see me this summer when he came for Hempstock. And loved coming to Oregon, but he loved giving me this Iron Maiden shirt. And I just freaking so proud to have it. You know, I went to a show the other night, went to see Death Angel, and some dude walked up and was like, where'd you get that shirt, man? I got one from Virginia. And I'm like, damn, dude, it was, Nashville. Damn, I didn't realize, you know, this Eddie shirt's been going on forever.
Yeah.
And so shout out to my boy, Big Jim. Really appreciate all his support. No one really supported me, probably more than him. And he's been a friend forever. He went to every one of my high school football games. I mean, when I used to play in Garnersville, 2 hours away, him and Johnny Dungy would load up, and they would be up in the stands to watch me play football. And then when I got back, he would be waiting at the stadium, and then we would all go and smoke weed and party down. So Big Jim loved rock, dude. AC/DC was his favorite band. Loved Rush, loved Triumph, and all those killer bands. And so shout out to him one more time. Alabama Medical Marijuana Coalition is going to miss him down there, but they're going to continue fighting on. All right, man, tonight we had a great show with Black Hill Oil. Dudes, you guys still listening with us? Yeah, they're still on. All right, man, so we got about a minute left. And while myself right here is getting ready to fire up this bong, because I want to do one BHO hit in your honor. So while I'm doing this, dude, you guys tell everyone again where they can get your album and where they can expect to see you. What's up with Black Hill Oil in the future?
And you got 45 seconds.
5 seconds.
45.
45.
45.
45 seconds.
Basically, yeah, we're just applying for the festival circuit right now, and basically if you go to blackhilloil.bandcamp.com, you can get our album $4. All we had to do already pay $4.20 for us.
He's out of Prince Albert, by the way.
Yeah, you will find us hopefully next couple Herb Flower Hour.
Right.
Hempfest.
Here's hoping for Hempfest.
Here's hoping for Hempfest. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
You guys keep up the great work, dude, and we'll see you out there. Keep sending us that great music, man.
You guys, too.
Keep rocking. Russ, what's going on next?
Big Daddy Fink, Funky Roller Rank, coming up next. Brand new, packed with extra Fink Funk.